Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fall 2014 Viterbi Fall Live Chat. We are now officially live, so thank you so much for joining us on this Monday evening. We're really glad you're here. So tonight we corralled several of the best engineering students here at the Viterbi School of Engineering to answer all your questions about what life is like here at Viterbi and maybe what you'll experience in the next 4 years as a college student. So let's start off by introducing the students we have with us tonight. Let's start with Patrick.
Yeah, howdy guys. So my name is Patrick and I'm a junior from Dallas, Texas, studying computer science and business administration. Um, and I'm also picked up a minor in video game programming. So on campus I'm involved in a couple of computer science clubs. Notably I'm in MEGA, which is the Makers of Entertainment and Games Association, where we do a lot of hackathons and build games, kind of connect all the different disciplines involved in the area, and I'm also working with a student startup doing iOS development. So off campus I'm also involved in a social fraternity, and this past summer I actually went through the Viterbi Summer Overseas program and studied abroad in Rome.
Great, thanks Patrick, thank you so much.
Cool. Hey guys, my name is Makana. I'm a senior in chemical engineering with an emphasis in nanotechnology. Within Viterbi, I do research with cancer diagnostics, which is super cool, and I've done it since this summer. And I also am the president of Quest, which stands for Queers in Engineering, Science, and Technology, and that's part of our Center for Engineering Diversity here at USC. And lastly, I did an international co-op my junior year, so I went to Germany for 6 months, and I was working at a chemicals company called Evonik, which was a great experience.
Awesome. Hey everyone, my name's Betty. I'm from Camarillo, California, and I'm currently studying aerospace engineering. Within Viterbi, I'm on the Klein Institute of Undergraduate Engineering Life, abbreviated as COOL, because that's a bit of a mouthful. And we serve as the umbrella group over all the Viterbi student organizations. So we work to bring together the Viterbi community, get clubs working together. So a good way to kind of describe what we do is we're like the student government of Viterbi. In addition, I'm a freshman academy coach, so once admitted to the School of Engineering, you're required to take one class for freshmen, and so we set you up with two upperclassmen and a professor to help you integrate into the School of Engineering. And also, I'm an associate editor for Lumen magazine, where we publish student works. And then outside of Viterbi, I'm on the club tennis team.
Hey guys, my name is Calvin Legasic. I'm a sophomore studying electrical engineering and computer science. I'm really involved in the entrepreneurship community on campus. I'm the director of Spark SC, which brings together a bunch of really cool organizations who do stuff from 3D printing to social entrepreneurship. I also run our large-scale hackathon, Hack SC. This summer, I had an internship at Flextronics where I worked with RFID technology, and I'm currently a Google Student Ambassador.
Hi everyone, my name's Kelly. I'm originally from Littleton, Colorado, and currently I'm a junior studying civil engineering with emphasis in building science. Within Viterbi, I am on the e-board for the American Society of Civil Engineers. I'm the social chair, and within ASCE, I'm also on the concrete canoe team, where we make a canoe out of concrete and we race it at a competition. I'm also, as Betty talked about, a freshman academy coach, and the purpose of the coaches is to serve as a mentor to the incoming students, and we help them get adjusted to life as an engineering student at USC and within college in general. And then outside of Viterbi, I'm the captain of the women's ice hockey team, and I also have a work-study job on campus.
Hi everyone, my name is Josue Campos. I'm from Pasadena, California. In addition to that, I am minoring in Spanish. In Viterbi, I'm involved in the SHIP, the Society for Hispanic Professional Engineers. In addition to that, outside of campus, I have a work-study job as a tour guide in the Central Office of Admission.
Hi guys, I'm Jordan. I'm a junior studying biomedical engineering, and I'm from Auburn, California. Some things I'm involved with on campus are 3D4E is the 3D printing club on campus. It stands for 3D for everyone, and we believe exactly that. Basically, anyone who has an interest in the technology itself get opportunity or information about 3D printing. I'm also involved in USC Men's Crew, which is the club sport for men's rowing. And outside of that, I'm also in the iPodia program, which is an international program, distance educational network program through Viterbi that allows students to learn with other students on the international level.
Hi everyone, my name's Ellen. I'm a sophomore double majoring in computer science and physics, and within Viterbi I'm involved in the Association for Computing Machinery, which is Computer Science Professional Society, so they put on a lot of industry events like networking nights, and as well as a lot of technical workshops to practice whiteboard coding and other skills that you need for interviews. I'm also involved in MEGA, as Patrick mentioned, and I'm on the ice hockey team with Kelly.
Great, thank you so much, Ellen, and thank you all to the rest of you. So really briefly about me, my name is Alex Coco. I'm a junior majoring in astronautical engineering. I'm originally from Danbury, Connecticut. Within Viterbi, I'm a member of USC's Rock Propulsion Lab, where I work developing the parachute subsystem for our space shot rocket. Outside of Viterbi, I'm actually very interested in Israeli business and consulting, and I'm part of an organization called USC Tamid, which consults and invests with Israeli organizations. Specifically, I work for Space IL, which is a space startup that's trying to put a rover on the moon. And this summer, I'll be working for Northrop Grumman as a systems engineer out here in Redondo Beach, so I'm extremely excited for that. So without further ado, let's hop into the questions. Feel free to continue submitting questions on our online form at viterbivoices.usc.edu/live or on Twitter using the hashtag ViterbiLive. So let's hop into our first question, though. Coming from Joelle, why did you pick your major in engineering in general? So let's hear it, guys.
I'll start with that one. So in high school, I honestly didn't know what an engineer was until my junior year when I started thinking about what I wanted to major in. And so someone just told me, hey, you know, you're good at math. Why don't you think about engineering? And from there, I went on and I talked to my dad, who actually went to USC for aerospace engineering. And so he talked to me about, you know, what aerospace engineering does and what it is. And I grew to really like it. I chose USC specifically because the aerospace program is very tied to the mechanical program, and so I didn't know if I wanted to go into such a specialized field such as aerospace. So at USC, I get a very, you know, traditional engineering mechanical background with the design of an aerospace engineer.
Great, thanks, Betty.
Yeah, I'd say along the same line. During high school, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I was always really good at math and science, or at least so I thought. And when I took biology my senior year is what kind of sealed the deal for biomedical engineering, especially when we got into human systems and taking a look at the different types of organs and the types of different chemical pathways that happen in the human body. That was really what kind of interested me the most. And then especially seeing things, just doing my own kind of research on TEDx or TEDx Talks, if you guys know what that is. There was a really great one by Anthony Atala that I recommend you guys go check out about printing a human kidney. And I saw that and I was ultimately hooked.
For me personally, I was also told, like everyone else said, oh, you're good at math and science, you should become an engineer. But why I picked civil specifically is whenever, when I was little, I was on a club hockey team and we would travel to a lot of different states. And the first thing I would always notice was all the buildings of the new city I was visiting. So I was always fascinated with buildings. And then when I got to USC, I found out about building science, which is a combination of structural engineering and architecture. So it was a perfect mix for me because I would get to learn about buildings in both the aesthetics components and the structural components so that one day, hopefully, I can design a building like all the beautiful ones I saw when I was little.
Kelly, you'll have to design my dream house one day.
I got you, Alex.
Alrighty. So it's all great that you guys have kind of had those reasons to pick your majors, but we have a great question from Aman. What happens if you think you knew what your dream major was, then you realize you get to college and you want to change majors? So in general, how do you change majors, and is it easy to do that here at USC? So let's start with Calvin, because Calvin, correct me if I'm wrong, but you went from astro to electrical to what else did you do?
Yeah. So in terms of what do you have to do and how easy is it, it's as easy as signing a piece of paper. I signed up for mechanical engineering when I applied, switched to electrical engineering before I got here, then thought for a week that I wanted to be an astronautical engineer, and now I'm very solidly studying electrical engineering and computer science. And like I said, it's just as easy as going to see your advisor, having them kind of like look at you and be like, are you sure? And then signing a piece of paper. For me, yeah.
Yeah, I know that within chemical engineering we have a lot of different emphases, and I went in knowing that I wanted to do biochemical emphasis in chemical engineering. I was super set on it. I did an internship in a more like biotech related field, and I liked it. But then after I had my co-op, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, I got more interested in like materials processes, and I ended up switching to nanotechnology, and that was second semester junior year. And I still had that opportunity to do that and still graduate on time. So like Calvin said, you know, it's basically signing a piece of paper, and the advisor just makes sure that you're not doing it for fun, basically. But yeah, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, like Makana said, I actually switched emphases within computer science as well. When I first started, I was a computer science games major. And like Makana mentioned, sometimes your priorities just change, whether it be from a work experience or taking a class that you really liked. So for me, I took physics, and I just loved it. And so I wanted to add a physics major. And the way that I could make that fit into my schedule the best was by switching into regular computer science from computer science games. I just walked into my advisor and mentioned it, and I didn't even have to sign a paper. She just did it for me.
So there you have it. It sounds like you can change majors here at Viterbi because, well, we've done it before. So you know what your major is now, and you started classes. But let's get a brief snapshot of what the typical day is for a Viterbi engineer in terms of class, homework, out of class activities. So could someone take us through like maybe a 30-second snapshot of their day?
I guess I could take this one. On campus, you know, like you have a lot to do in your schedule. So I usually start off my day. I'm very lucky to have classes when I start at 10 o'clock, so I can start off my day a little later. I start my classes at 10. Then, because I have a work study job, I have to go maybe into the office sometimes. Since I am a tour guide, I go give my tours. Aside from that, I also hopefully sometimes fit in lunch with some friends. Also, I make sure to make time for the clubs that I'm involved in to go to those types of club meetings. In addition to that, I can always like squeeze in a good, some good friend time. You know, to maybe go to the movies or just maybe study together and just like balance like school.
Great, thanks, Josue. I want to give a quick shout out to Cameron, who asked the typical day question. Cameron, thank you so much for joining us. Let's get one more typical day from our panel here.
Yeah, so I usually get up a little earlier than that. I have class sometimes at 9 is when my philosophy class starts. So yeah, I go to that philosophy class, then go to some computer science classes, usually get lunch, and then head over to the Blackstone Launchpad, which is a place I work on campus, it's actually an incubator program, and usually talk to students who are working on their different businesses and companies, then do some homework and head home.
Great, thank you, Calvin. You both have busy days. I don't know how you do it. So what I kind of want to hear now, Rohan's curious, what are classes like freshman year? Like, you take engineering classes, what are the size of those classes? So, Makana, could you give us a brief throwback to your freshman year classes?
Oh man, that's so crazy to think about. Being a senior, those classes were definitely a little less challenging than they are now. One class that stands out particularly freshman year was my Intro to Chemical Engineering class, and that class was pretty small. I'd say maybe 35 to 40 students. I also did take general chemistry and a calculus class. The calculus class was also very small. Chemistry was a little bit bigger, but we did have labs that broke out into like much smaller sections. And I feel like as you get a little bit more specialized, your classes just keep shrinking and shrinking. And now my classes are like 20 students, 15 students. But I think freshman year was definitely my intro class, my academy class, a couple general classes. But it was really great starting out in engineering classes because I really didn't know what I was getting myself into from the first day. I think like most high school students, I just hadn't taken any engineering classes. I'd done math and I'd done chemistry, but I'd never done chemical engineering, so that was a whole different field.
And what's cool about freshman year at USC is all the engineers, regardless of what discipline you are, take really similar classes. So even though Makana was chemical, I had basically almost the same schedule as her my first semester freshman year. So I took calculus, a writing class, a GE, my intro to civil engineering, and then also the freshman academy class that me and Betty mentioned earlier. And that class is there's about 30 students, and they're a variety of disciplines within Viterbi, and you work on things like teamwork, the field of engineering. You talk about ethics, a lot of like hands-on projects like bridge making, towers, boat race. So that's a class that I really enjoyed my freshman year.
Building upon that, I think going in and people saying, oh, you have to take engineering classes your freshman year really overwhelms me. But I think, like Kelly said, they're all pretty standard. So if you end up not liking your major, you can switch. But I loved my intro class. I thought it was an amazing way to show me what aerospace engineering was. So for the first 6 weeks, what we did is we did computer design work, and we worked on learning SolidWorks, which is a huge program that you'll need to know as a mechanical or aerospace engineer, and probably some other majors. And then the second half, we actually built a glider, and we got up at 6 a.m. because our professor said that's when there's no wind. He probably just wanted to torture us, I think. But we got up at 6 a.m. and we flew our gliders. My glider won. It flew like the length of a football field, and it was just like an amazing thing to finally like build something, do all the calculations for it, and see it actually happening. So I love that class so much. It'll always be my favorite until I take something else fun.
Great. So really quick, I wanted to hop on that question as well. As a freshman in my fall semester, I took Astronautics 101 with Dr. Irwin, who's actually the chair of the Astronautical Engineering Department. So not only was I taught a course by the chair of my department my freshman year, in that class we had a lot of great projects that applied specifically to what I wanted to do. Our end of the year project was actually planning a voyage to Mars. So if we were to send a probe or a satellite to Mars, what would be the propellant requirements, the delta V change in voltage requirements, to get on a Hohmann transfer orbit to go from geostationary Earth orbit to orbit around Mars. So it was a pretty interesting project that I got to do right off the bat my freshman year. So yeah, you definitely do get drop-kicked into engineering here at USC. So going off of that great question, we have another awesome question from Ilana. Can you guys tell me about maybe the most fun projects, the coolest projects you all have done here at USC, either in your classes or in research?
I guess I can start off on that one. Got a lot of projects to talk about, but probably the most fun, two that I could pick out just off the top of my head. First was one that we actually did in class. It was my CS201 class, and we did a SimCity project where essentially we built from scratch our entire simulation city. Kind of if you played the game SimCity, it's all the systems that run in the background. So we had people running around, going to work, driving cars, getting food, managing their money, having parties with their friends. And I actually led a team of 7 of my classmates in this project going over a month. And it was just slowly putting together this project and seeing how everything worked together, and finally putting it on at the end and watching everything work was just a really rewarding experience. And kind of second to that is actually this past weekend I competed at HackSC, which is a hackathon on campus, where in 36 hours, actually my roommate, myself, and a friend of ours got together and we built a networked iOS game for the iPhone and ended up actually getting in the top 5 teams for the competition. So it's really fun to just get your friends together and throw something together.
Yeah, I'd say going off of that, one of my favorite projects that I'm going to be involved with, actually, I haven't done it yet, is for one of my current classes, linear circuits, EE202. If you're a biomedical engineer or electrical engineer, you're going to take this course, and what we're going to be starting next week, actually, is building our own electric guitars. So we're currently in prep mode for that, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I'm not sure if the acoustics will be like great, and I know I can't even play an electric guitar, so I'll have to pick that up as well. But other than that, I mean, other projects that I've been involved with on campus, especially 3D printing, are actually ones that are getting off the ground right now. We're actually doing a project in which we're providing prosthetics for child amputees in Haiti and across the United States. So we're actually 3D printing the prosthetics themselves and actually going in and assembling them, finishing them, going through actual post-process or post-production processes, and then shipping them out. And then another project that we're actually starting up right now is actually making a 3D scale model of the University of Southern California campus, and then we'll be printing that out in the next coming weeks and months.
One of my favorite projects was also at a hackathon. It was autonomous hovercraft. So we used an Arduino, which is a small microprocessor, which basically just lets you really easily program something that gets physical devices moving around. And so over the course of, again, like a 36-hour period, we built this vehicle, this hovercraft that's like this big by this big, that just floated up and could follow a black line and could turn, and it had like a fan at the back, and we called it the tadpole. But yeah, it was just like a really cool project.
Great. Any other cool projects out there? I mean, you guys covered a bunch of good ones. So hopefully it gives you a small snapshot of what we do here for that's just really neat and really demonstrates our engineering capabilities. But Dalen asked a pretty funny question here. Dalen, you asked, do you have to be an ultra smart math wizard to succeed here at USC? So Dalen, I'm going to twist your question a little bit. Guys, tell me, is it collaborative here at USC? What's the environment like in terms of these projects, in terms of homework, in terms of class activities? Do you need to be ultra smart to succeed?
In terms of math, I think there are so many resources that Viterbi offers if you're struggling. I know I felt like I was a pretty strong math. I have a pretty strong math background, so I ended up taking this, and I loved it, but it was very difficult, so I always went into my professor's office hours, and at the end of the year I actually went to Makana, who was a VARC tutor at the time, and she actually helped me out and tutored me. So Viterbi has this Viterbi Academic Resource Center. Maybe Makana can speak about this more, but they offer free tutoring, and I've always felt a very collaborative environment here. I was able to get through all of my math requirements with a lot of help, as well as my other, basic general ed classes.
Great.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about the Academic Resource Center we have. So, like Betty said, it's free to all of our Viterbi students. I was a tutor there from freshman year up until my junior year, and it's a really, really great environment because I think peer tutoring, you get to establish a lot of mentorship connections, and I know that's how Betty and I met, which was awesome. And I think going back to Alex's question, it is very collaborative here, and I've felt that all the years that I've been here, and I'm a senior now, and they almost kind of force you to be collaborative sometimes because you have to take a class where you're assigned to group projects, and you have to work with each other. There's no way around it. In particular, I'm taking a lab class right now. It's a chemical engineering lab class, and we just did a heat exchanger lab simulation, which was really, really challenging, and we had to split up the lab and work together and figure out how to design it better, and it's kind of projects like that that I think sort of make it better for you to interact in the real world as an engineer, because you're probably going to be working on teams in the real world too. So I've definitely found it to be collaborative.
Yeah, for me personally, within my major, there's only 8 building science kids, so we're very, very close, and we do everything together because we have literally the same schedule. So for all our homework assignments, we really help each other out. Maybe one person's better at something else, so they can explain it to another person, and just having that core group of us collaborating all the time makes it really easy to get through all my classes.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so we can collaborate we collaborate with students, but I guess what's our connection like to professors? I know that Vincent here asked, what's the relationship between student and professor here at USC, and do you feel comfortable with your professors enough to ask them for a recommendation letter, maybe when applying to graduate schools later on, or other opportunities down the road? So, yeah, what do you guys think about your professor-student relationships?
I think they're definitely great. Jumping off that question where you're asking, do you feel comfortable asking them for recommendation letters and things like that? I actually recently applied to the progressive degree program here, and part of that is that you have to have teacher recommendations for it, and it's really essential. I've had recommendations for all sorts of things, but your teachers really want to get to know you, and they are your teachers because they want to be there and they really want to meet their students. So I'm still really in great contact with one of my freshman CS professors, Professor Redicott, And I still go see him in his office every now and then, go say hi, see how he's going, how are his kids, all that jazz. And then last semester, I was actually in a mobile games class where I learned all of my iOS skills, and my professor there, Mike Sheehan, I'm still in good contact with him, and he actually used to work at Zynga, so I'm talking to him on that front, kind of using his connections to help get a step ahead in the industry and get some help whenever I run into some trouble when I'm working on an iOS program for the startup that I'm with. He's kind of my go-to guy, so there's definitely good relationships with the teachers.
The professors are.
Go ahead, Ellen.
Sorry, Betty. The professors are definitely approachable. Like, aside from just being able to ask them for letters of recommendation, which I've definitely done in the past. One of the things that I was kind of intimidated about when I first got here was going to their office hours and asking them for help, because sometimes you feel like you're in this lecture hall, and if it's a big class, maybe there's like 50 or 60 other people, and it feels kind of awkward to go to their office hours. But once I finally got over that hump and went to go ask for help, you really discover that that's why they're there. They're trying to help you, and actually, if nobody shows up to their office hours, they kind of get sad. So they're definitely approachable, and they're definitely there to help you.
Great, thanks, guys. Really briefly, I want to bring up a great experience I had with Dr. Irwin, who is my, if you remember, he was my astronaut 101 professor. He actually introduced me to USC's Rocket Propulsion Lab. He recommended that I go check it out. And that's part of the reason why I got involved with the lab and doing research in rocketry. So going off that, what research have you all done here at USC? And maybe also what internships have you maybe done over your last few years? And that's coming from Ania. Thanks for joining us.
I can start with that because I currently do research in Dr. Roberts' lab, and he runs an mRNA display lab. So I don't know if you've taken any biology classes or anything like that, but basically what we're doing is trying to essentially cure or provide therapies for different diseases. So I've had a really great experience with that. I actually work on my own project completely independently, hoping to get published really soon, hopefully this semester, but writing papers is not easy, so maybe next semester. So I've had a really great experience with research. I also worked in another lab my sophomore year, and when I went abroad I didn't have the opportunity to continue in that lab, but I also enjoyed that experience because I think getting hands-on, the practical experience is really, really different from, I guess, the in-class theoretical knowledge that you gain, and so it's a really great balance to your education here, and I've had an amazing experience with research as an undergraduate.
Yeah, going off of that.
Go ahead.
Sorry, going off of that, I actually did research my freshman year at the Creativity Institute. And we basically worked with fMRI machines to kind of determine if there was a correlation between this kind of empathy or ability to empathize with someone who is transgressing or having an ethical transgression and the type of emotion that they're displaying at the same time. So that was something interesting that I was able to get involved with as early as my freshman year. Had a great experience with it, and I was actually working with a couple of graduate students who were doing their PhD on the study. So it was definitely a great experience to kind of see what research is like and get your feet wet all together.
Building on what Jordan's saying, I also got involved with research my freshman year. I came in and I really wanted to just try it out. I didn't know what research was, and I had heard like it was really cool, so I just looked at what positions were available, emailed a professor, and got a research position. And now I'm still doing that same one. Currently, I'm working on creating an algorithm to control a quadcopter through optical flow, which for all of you that probably don't know, because I didn't know going in, it's how bugs fly, which I know is kind of weird, but pretty much it's like an integral of when things go by you, they know how to turn or move faster. And so pretty much all day, I also work with Arduino, what Calvin mentioned earlier. And then I just play with my quadcopter when I get bored. So it's super fun. I'm in love with research, and I hope to keep doing it for the rest of the USC experience.
Yeah, just kind of jumping off that, with the alternate definition of research. And when I came in, I thought that research meant I was going to be working under a professor and doing things like that. But I've actually not really with a professor outside of just class and teachers with a couple of my friends got together, and I recently joined on with a student startup where we're doing iOS development. I thought that was kind of a cool way for us to do like our own research, and we built this company from the ground up and kind of went with it. We're doing food delivery, doing a lot of online systems. It's been a learning process as we go. So it's kind of an alternate way to go about getting research and just another way to get involved as an undergraduate. If you don't see any research that looks fun right now, go create something.
I could personally attest to that as well.
Excuse me, sorry.
Are you going to go? No? Okay.
No,
I was just going to say I can personally attest to Patrick's his endeavors on his iOS development because I've actually used his app to deliver some food to my vice president before. So.
Shameless plug.
Great, and with these research opportunities, did those who spoke, did you start those your freshman year? I know I personally got involved with Rocket Lab my freshman year. I also got involved with Project Leapfrog, which developed a prototype lunar lander. I did a lot of that research freshman year spring. What were your all's experience with getting into research as a freshman? Really brief.
I think I mentioned this when I talked about it earlier. I got involved my freshman year. I just emailed my professor, and he was totally willing to bring on people. I just shadowed a PhD student my freshman year to kind of get the feel of what research is, and from there, I just finally took on my own project.
Yeah, and I think going off that too, you can email your professors. You can go up in freshman and office hours or after class and whatnot. But there's also a website that's on USC that tells you all the professors who are actually currently looking for research students or people who they need, to be in their labs for help. So you can go to that website at any time, and it's regularly updated with new and active positions that professors need to fill.
Yeah, going off that, I had the opportunity to join a lab my freshman year, and a lot of my friends did. And personally, for me, I kind of wanted to adjust a little bit to college beforehand, and I wanted to see like how I manage my classes, because honestly, like research can be a very big commitment, and it's a really, really great commitment. But I think to get a lot out of it, you do have to put a lot of time into it. So personally, for me, I just chose not to. But a lot of my friends did, and they love it, and they're still in their labs that they were in freshman year. And I joined sophomore year, so I was a little late to the party, but it was all fine in the end.
Great, thank you so much, guys. That's awesome. We have another question coming in here from Jessica. What internships have you all been involved in? So let's go more towards the internship side here. And how's the Viterbi Career Center helped you get those internships, or the USC Career Center in general? So I'll take this one to start off. I mentioned this earlier, but I will be working for Northrop Grumman in Redondo Beach this summer as a systems intern, systems engineering intern, excuse me. And I met the Northrop Grumman recruiter through the Viterbi Career Fair on October 8th. Handed him a resume. I spoke with him for about 30 minutes. And they actually offered me a job at the career fair. So it's a very, it was a very unique scenario. But Viterbi and USC, through my experience, does provide the ability for you all to meet recruiters and to get internships for the summer. On top of that, USC Career Center in general, through their on-campus recruiting program, I was able to have an interview with PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, for a consultant intern position over this summer. So the opportunities are there, and it's up to you all to go out there and get them. But let's kind of go to our panelists here. What tools have you all used to attain internships for the summer or for the semesters? Or how, just in general, how did you get those internships?
Sure, I can start. I interned this past summer with Kiewit. They're a general contracting company, so I was a field engineer intern, and basically what that means is, excuse me, I was basically under a superintendent for all the structures work on the construction site I was at, and I just aided him in whatever he needed. So if RFIs where you talk to the designer to solve a problem, I ordered concrete and ran concrete pours. I also did a lot of safety walks. And so to get to my internship, I actually just applied online to like every opening that Kiewit had. And then because I applied to so many, they had my email, so they kept, I was in email contact with them. And then they had this intern night towards the end of the year before the summer started. And although I couldn't attend the intern night, I let them know that, and I said, is there any way I can still be considered? And since I took that initiative, they said, yeah, definitely. And they gave me a computer interview. So I did a one-way, it was like the question popped up on the screen and then I answered it, and then they liked that interview, and then I was offered the position for the summer.
So I did something that was a little hard for me at first, but utilizing family connections. So it seems a little, family and friends, it seems a little awkward at first to kind of ask around within your family to see if any places that your parents or uncles or whatever work, to see if there's internship opportunities. But I ended up doing that on top of going to the Viterbi Career Fair. And there was a position available for me at Flextronics, an electronics manufacturing company, this last summer. And I ended up working there, like I said, on radio frequency identification technology, which was really cool and something I knew absolutely nothing about beforehand. It's basically like a next level barcode scanning technology that lets you read stuff, like you can read through walls and from really far distances to keep track of information connected to items. But yeah, really just don't be afraid to do what it takes to just find a job.
Yeah, I'd say on top of that, there's a really great resource called Viterbi Connect. So I think Alex was talking a little bit about the actual USC Career Center. Viterbi actually has their own separate career center that only Viterbi students can actually access, and that's regularly updated with different jobs. I think when I was on there a couple of days ago, there was like 2,700 different positions, which is like almost overwhelming. You have to like search for your ideal job and whatnot. But I mean, if you don't want to go that route, one thing that I did was I actually was talking with some of my friends, and actually a brother in my fraternity is having a startup, or working on a startup that's actually working to connect students with internships. So by talking with him, I applied through that program or through the company, I guess it's called now, and I was offered a position at a startup company doing just a myriad of different things, really kind of getting my hands wet in probably like 5 or 6 different sectors, which was a really great experience.
Yeah, and kind of to tie all those together, I actually, like Calvin did, before I started college, I used family connections to get an internship back home, and summer after my freshman year, I kind of networked from that connection to get another internship back home, and this past year, I've been going to Viterbi's career fairs, industry nights, all those kind of events, and I actually used the Viterbi Career Gateway that Jordan was talking about to get a interview with Microsoft. They do an on-campus recruiting, which is really cool, what Viterbi has for some of the companies that normally you have to go to their headquarters to interview for, to really move on to the next steps for a internship. And they do on-campus recruiting where you can do your interview right on campus and just go through that screening process ahead of time. So I interviewed with them on campus, and I recently found out that I've moved on to the final round interview there. So fingers crossed for this summer.
Excellent.
Good luck.
Excuse
Thanks.
me. Sorry. All right. Let's get back on track here. So thank you, Patrick. Moving away from internships, Peter wants to know a little bit about the study abroad programs at USC, specifically given our engineering life and engineering schedules. How flexible are study abroad programs and how available are they? So Makana, you have an awesome story. Jordan, you have an awesome story. Patrick, you have an even better story because I was there with you. Let's hear the circuit about Viterbi abroad experiences.
So I had maybe a little bit more unique experience with going abroad. So I did a co-op my junior year. So I went to Germany for 6 months, and I was working at a chemical engineering company called Evonik Industries. I got that internship or co-op through a program that I applied to. So there's an international engineering exchange program. I was one of like 2 Americans, which was super weird. I was completely outnumbered all the time. And when I did that whole program, it wasn't through Viterbi, but I did get so much help with my cover letters and all my interview prep through Viterbi that I was just like ready to go as soon as I was getting phone calls to the different companies I was looking at. So I did manage to fit in my schedule, and I did have the opportunity to graduate in 4 years, even with taking a semester off. I did have a little bit more credits coming in, but that was really cool. So I will say that it is possible to go abroad and graduate in 4 years, or if you want to take longer and take an extra semester like I am, that works too. But I did have the opportunity to work abroad, so that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and try and blow you guys out of the water, Alex and Patrick. I talked about this a little bit in my intro, but I'm currently involved in the iPodia program. I actually took the course last semester, and basically, to kind of summarize the entire program, is you're going to be split up into different host universities that you'll be learning with throughout the world. So for instance, last semester, I got to learn with people from Technion University in Israel. I got to learn with people from Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, from Peking University in China, and the Birla Institute of Technology and Science in India. Science, not silence. But actually, you are all coming together weekly in a virtual classroom, and you actually interact with each other based on your cultural experiences, talking about both engineering, business, and innovation. And at the end, the kind of abroad portion is actually about a 10-day to 2-week trip to one of the host universities, in which case we went to Israel. This semester, we're actually doing it again. It's the first time we've done it in the fall. And I'm really excited because in, I guess that's 18 days from now, I'll be in Dubai. We'll be attending one of the world's biggest educational engineering conferences. And we'll be there for about 8 or 9 days. So it's going to be really, really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, Patrick, your turn. Let's show them how cool Rome was.
Oh yeah, totally blowing it out of the water. So yeah, as Alex referenced earlier, we both went to Rome with the Viterbi Summer Overseas program, and we got to room together there, so we got nice and close. But yeah, we went to Rome through that program, and what's really cool about it is that it's offered exclusively for engineers. It's out of our engineering school, and we bring our professors with us. So our professors traveled with us to Rome and actually taught us classes there exactly the same as the classes that we have here, except crammed into 7 weeks. But it's really cool because they had plans programmed, trips programmed for us. We went to Florence. Where else did we go for our planned trips? Orvieto.
Sorrento.
Yeah, Sorrento and Capri was a fun one.
I'm not impressed.
Yeah, feel free to jump in whenever you want.
No, that sounds great, Patrick, and all your experiences sound pretty varied. So our next question, we're going to bring it back to the United States of America. How easy, this is coming from Walter, how easy is it to take classes outside of your major? And then coming from Jacqueline, do you guys pursue different areas of study? Do you know people who have pursued different areas of study within at your USC, so double major, maybe major minor? And a really quick note, thank you to everyone who's hung with us here for the last 43 minutes. We truly do appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out, and hopefully we're answering some of your great questions. So let's get back to the question at hand. Tell us about taking classes outside of your major and maybe a major minor possibility here at USC.
So I think I can really speak to that just because I'm actually minoring in Spanish, which is like completely outside of engineering. I'm Mexican American, so I've always really been interested in like learning more about the language because the minor not only encompasses language studies but also cultural studies. I also really love my engineering major, but I always really wanted to balance this out. So when I came to USC, I talked to an advisor in the Spanish department, and it made it possible just because this is something I was interested in, and it wasn't that hard. And it's really possible and not that hard to be able to balance them both.
Anyone?
Sorry. So I'm double majoring in computer science and physics. So I'm actually also in the Dornsife College outside of being in Viterbi, and it's really not too hard to balance these things. Even, you might think that there is some overlap because they're both kind of science majors, but they are actually pretty different classes. And as far as actually getting to do that double major and take those classes, it's really as simple as you saying that you want to, and then doing a little scheduling to fit it into your time.
I think building upon that, I personally am not doing a double major or minor, but one of my really good friends is actually double majoring in electrical engineering and cinematic studies, which are two completely different things, but really capitalizing on the two amazing schools that Viterbi, or that USC has to offer, the Viterbi School of Engineering, the Cinematic Arts, and she's going to be able to do in 4 years. Yeah, she did come in with a lot of credits, and she's cramming a lot into her 4-year plan, but she's going to be able to do what she really wants. So there are ways. It's just you have to work with your schedule a lot.
Yeah, a lot of people think that I'm a double major, but I'm not actually.
Yeah, Pat, can you explain your computer science business administration degree to us all, please?
Yeah, I can explain it a little bit. So computer science business is actually one major. It's kind of like an emphasis within computer science, and it follows the same computer science curriculum. So you'll be with all the other computer science students, but it also follows the business curriculum. So you're with all the business students too, and it's really kind of cutting out some of the general requirements so that you can squeeze both into 4 years and still have some wiggle room to move around in. And I'd say it's about half and half business and computer science. So I've gone through and I'm taking a cryptography class right now, right after my business communications class, and I'm taking GE, taking a lot of different classes. So you really get a good kind of full experience in both. And you also have room to specialize in both. Because like I said, I'm taking cryptography now. I've taken professional C++. I've taken a couple of computer science technical classes. And I'm actually taking an entrepreneurship class kind of as my elective portion of my business degree now too. So it's really cool to combine the two of them.
Great, thank you very much, Patrick. So changing gears again now, let's get to another important question. Ilana asked, how safe do you feel here at USC? So that's a good question. Thank you, Ilana. Let's start with Makana. Makana, how safe do you feel here at USC?
Wow, put me on the spot.
Seriously, sorry.
I did feel safe. I felt safe until you asked me that question. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think throughout my 4 years here, I don't think there's ever been a moment where I felt unsafe on campus. I think we just have a lot of resources that are there just in case anything, in case you feel unsafe. One thing that I use quite a lot is our campus cruiser system. So basically you call the service, and it's all through USC, and they will pick you up within a certain radius of campus and basically drop you off in a certain radius of campus through lots of different hours when you might be studying late on campus or out someplace else. So I've definitely used that to get from different areas, and it's been very helpful for me. And I don't know, it's kind of funny to think about it because it's just never really on my mind as much. It's just it's never something that I'm constantly worried about.
So I actually live in a house off campus, and then my girlfriend lives in a house like 10 blocks off campus, and we both feel extremely safe.
Yeah, I think USC is very safe, and I think really Makana and Calvin covered. There's really not much to go into more than that. Thank you so much, guys. So what do engineering majors do in their free time? And USC is great because it's nestled in downtown LA, and it's very easy to get around via public transportation, and also using the ride-sharing app Uber or Lyft. Those have definitely helped me over the past 2 years. But I want to hear about your guys' experience. What do you guys do for free time?
Sure. So for me personally, I'm from Colorado, so I'm super outdoorsy and I love nature. And I thought coming to LA I'd be a little disappointed with the lack of nature, but surprisingly there are a ton of hikes. So I personally like to get out there and go hiking a lot. Some of the cool ones are like the Hollywood sign hike, where you literally hike all the way up to the Hollywood sign, and you can see the letters right in front of you, and then there's a panoramic view of the city of LA. And then there's also like Runyon Canyon, which is a really popular one for celebrity spotting. A lot of celebrities take their dogs there, and it's a big hike around like a hill that overlooks the city too. So I like to get outside of campus and explore some nature.
Yeah, going along on that, I just really liked riding my bike. So my freshman year, I actually stayed here over the summer, and I had a job in Los Angeles, and I actually rode probably everywhere within like a 25-mile radius of campus on my bike, and I've also done some little bit longer distance trips. I've rode from USC to Santa Barbara. That was about 100 miles, and that's just something that I like to do. Getting outside, going exploring the different terrains, and getting your experience in LA outside of engineering or your on-campus experiences. Also, if you guys haven't seen Interstellar, I went and saw it last night in IMAX, and I definitely recommend it. I think I've told everyone here at least like 2 or 3 times today that I saw it. They're probably going to sick of hearing it, but I definitely recommend it. So check it out.
I'll back that up. I went yesterday too. It was really good.
Going off that point, I'm actually also a really big moviegoer, and one of the coolest things that, because you go to USC, has a lot of other schools, there's a School of Cinematic Arts, and they have the First Look Film Festival, which is sort of like a indie film festival that they have here on campus with student submissions and stuff like that. It's a yearly thing, and I'd love to go to it, so you see a lot of different types of films. My friends actually submitted, put us in the submission, and actually won an award for it, so it was really cool. It was something that we could do on campus, and we didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you guys, but I love food, so that's definitely one of my favorite things to do.
The food in LA is bomb.
Yeah, food in LA is just great here. I actually have my car here, so it's a little easier for me to get around, but Uber works great for it, and I really just love kind of Googling best restaurants in LA, picking one and just going out and seeing how it is, see if it's good or not. Found some good favorites there. Definitely check out Umami Burger if you haven't.
La Barca.
Labarca's good.
You guys are all talking about using like Uber and stuff, but I use Metro all the time because the stop is like right outside my house, and it costs $2 to go all the way downtown. And there's also like the free USC shuttle, so if you don't like spending money on transportation like me, you can always go for that, and always go ahead and use the Metro or the free shuttle that we have here.
Yeah, I definitely used that a lot freshman year.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I'm on the hockey team, and as you can probably tell from all my posters and hockey gear in the background, it's like pretty much my life. So whether I'm like hanging out with Kelly, doing team bonding stuff, going to Kelly, or even like Makana said, I'll just hop on the Metro and go down 2 stops to Staples Center to go see a Kings game or a Clippers game or Lakers game or whatever. So I spend a lot of my time doing that.
Great, thanks, Alan. Go Kings, go! Become a Kings fan. So we have time for 2 more questions. We'll be wrapping up shortly, but so Nicholas wants to know how difficult is it to manage schoolwork and all these activities you guys do, and maybe work-study jobs or research, and it's got to be stressful. How do you work through that stress?
To answer that question, I feel like I'm involved in a lot of different stuff on campus, whether it's like one of my technically 4 jobs or like just different classes or organizations. And I think the best way to answer like the stress aspect of that question is just only do stuff you want to do. So I'm doing a lot of stuff on campus that I really enjoy, so I'm never really stressed out about it. I'm just always having a good time.
Yeah, to build off that, I have a work-study job. I work.
Hi, Kelly.
Okay, sorry. I have a work-study job. I work as an usher in the auditorium on campus, and we have a lot of cool events. Like just on Friday, I got paid to see Bill Clinton. I also got paid to see Elton John last year, so that's a really cool job. But just managing hockey and my work-study job, all my engineering clubs and classes, I think the most important thing is to know what like meetings are what day and what practices, and then when you have that free time, just crack down and get your studying done real quick, and then you can enjoy the rest of your evening.
So I think building on what Kelly said. Oh, is someone else talking? No? Okay. If building on what Kelly said, time management is really important. Always like plan around your schedules. But what I've really noticed within the Viterbi community, a lot of the people I talk to are involved in more than one thing, whether it be a sport or another org. So the curriculum set up so where you can have time to do other things. Like I played tennis my freshman year. I did a work-study job. And then this year it kind of got more hectic, so I took on a work-study job where it's more flexible to my hours, which is the magazine. And so there's a lot of options to work your schedule into what you want to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. You all have handled it quite well. So we're doing our last question now. Let's go to our last question. So very basic. Why did you all choose USC?
All right, I can start off on that. Why USC for me? I guess initially when I was coming in, I had a lot of schools on my list, and it was the moment that I stepped on campus for the first time, It's actually for a scholarship interview. I just stepped on campus and I saw all the students walking around. They're all happy, and got to talk to a lot of the students, and I just knew it was the place for me. I loved how there's a good balance between the great academics here, and also people were having fun and they were doing what they wanted to do. They had time to do these, great student involvements, these student orgs. And after being here for a while, it's kind of morphed a little bit. I love the collaborative environment that we have here. I mean, like I was saying with my SimCity project, I was leading a team of 7 people for my mobile games programming class. I was on a team of 4 people. For Hack-A-See, I was on another team. Lots of teamwork, lots of, getting things going and working together, really doing what you want to do.
Wow, you took everything I was going to say. I guess. No, it's okay. I guess that kind of just goes to show. I think for me, a lot of it was that I really wanted to do research when I got here, and as you can see, I've gotten really involved in research, but there were so many undergrads that I talked to that told me that they had gotten involved with research projects early, and they were doing actual things. They weren't just like washing test tubes or like doing dishes or anything like that, and that really drew me in, because I didn't really have an idea of what research would be like, but coming to campus and talking to students was really, really changing my perspective on it, because I got to learn more about research and more about what I could do as a college student. So that was one of the things that really drew me.
Yeah, so for me personally, I wanted a school that was really strong in engineering, but also just wasn't limited to being an only engineering school, because a lot of the top engineering schools are like polytechnic schools where they only offer engineering degrees, but I wanted a school that would allow me to explore other interests, get involved in other types of clubs. I also wanted a school that was out of state. Since I'm from Colorado, I wanted to get out, go somewhere new, so the weather in California was certainly nice. And then finally, I also wanted a school that had a hockey team, and surprisingly, our club hockey team, and surprisingly, USC was one of the few schools that I applied to, strong in engineering, out of Colorado, and had a hockey team, so USC was for me.
For me, it was really when I walked on campus for my Explore session, just something you do to like tour the campus, was the culture of community that I felt at USC. Everybody just had such a passion for the campus and for the other students on campus. And I don't know, that's just something that's really important to me, and why I chose to go to USC.
I'm from Southern California, so I always really wanted to stay within the area. USC is a great school in Southern California, but not only that, has a great alumni network, and that's what I was really looking for to stay here, hopefully in the future. But in addition to that, my high school was really geared towards school spirit. We probably had the worst football team in the entire district, but we were always like wearing our school colors, and I love that when it came to USC, we actually have like a better football team that can actually win a couple games. And it's very serious, something we take really seriously here, and I love the school spirit on campus.
Yeah, I think going on that, one of the things that really drew me to USC was the school spirit, and I actually played football in high school, so I was really a really big fan of not only college football, but USC in particular. And combining that with the great academics that they had, and really the multitude of different types of experiences and opportunities that are available for students, really sold it for me. I forget the number. I try to stop keeping track of it because it grows higher and higher every year, but I think there's something like 800 student organizations on campus now. And if it isn't here, you can make it, yourself. You can make that opportunity yourself. But it's pretty incredible the amount of diversity and the amount of different opportunities that are here. I went to the involvement fair as a junior in this semester, and I literally saw 3 new cool clubs that I wanted to be a part of. And I'm on a mailing list for all 3 of them now. So.
Yeah. So for me, I grew up in Southern California too, and actually, my dad is an engineering professor at USC, so it was always kind of on my radar, and I was pretty familiar with the school and how the academics were. And like Jordan and Josue, I was also a huge USC football fan. And aside from that, once I actually started interacting with the admissions officers, I was really excited to learn like how many opportunities there were for me to do something outside of engineering, like, for example, joining a hockey team when I had never played before. So I just really liked that there was opportunity to do well-rounded things like that.
Pretty much building on what everyone said, because those are all also my favorite things about USC, to the fact that Bovard is probably the backdrop of so many movies and shows that I watch. Shout out to Gilmore Girls, just finished marathoning that. Gilmore Girls is Yale is USC. Anyway, but building upon that, coming onto campus once I finally toured it and talking to all the students, I never spoke to a student that wasn't involved at all, and that's something that I wanted in my college experience. I wanted to be able to do stuff outside of engineering. I wanted to be able to do tennis, join some clubs, and that's exactly what USC was able to give me.
Great, thanks, Betty. So for me, I chose USC because of the academic diversity that USC offers. So some of my best friends at USC are in the film school, are in the music industry program, are business majors, and that's what I love about it. I can be an engineer in a school that doesn't just care about engineering, and even though it's extremely strong in engineering, there's this concept of this idea of engineering plus, where we kind of go outside of our comfort zone and kind of see and really delve into the things, the arts and other things that make life interesting outside of engineering. So in USC, I was looking at Georgia Tech and USC really provided that academically diverse experience for me. So at this point, we're all done. Thank you so much for joining us and sticking with us for the past hour. If we didn't get to your question, feel free to shoot us an email at viterbi.student@usc.edu, and we'll be sure to answer that question. A few other important events are coming up shortly. On Tuesday, November 18th at 5 p.m., the Viterbi admissions staff is also doing a live chat. So be sure to tune to that. I know a lot of you sent us admissions-related questions, so definitely direct those questions towards our Viterbi admissions staff, and they'll be able to answer them better than we can. And finally, our pinnacle event for the fall semester is the Viterbi Expo, which is an open house showcasing Viterbi student work and achievements, and that's on Sunday, November 23rd at Ronald Tudor Hall here at USC's campus. So if you're in the area, feel free to check it out. It's an awesome day, an awesome event. So from all of us here, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck in the college admissions process, and have a great night. And always, fight on, everyone. Thank you so much.
Fight on.